Good morning. Gorgias, day 25. Callicles, yes, Socrates. But Pericles made them wilder than when he assumed charge of them, and towards himself too, the last person he would have wished to suffer. Do you want me to agree with you? If you think I am telling the truth, then let it be granted. And if wilder, more unjust and worse, granted. Then Pericles was no good statement by this account. So you say, yes, and by what you yourself admit, tell me about Simon too in turn. Did not those whom he served ostracize him, that they might not hear his voice for 10 years? And they treated in the same way, and in addition punished him by banishment. And Miltiades, the victor of Marathon, they voted to throw into the pit, and he would have suffered this fate but for the president of the council. And yet if, as you say, these had been good men, they would never have been so treated. I have to think of Joseph. He basically suffered all of these. Joseph from the Bible. The one with the amazing coat. Yeah. Is it not true at any rate that while good charioteers are not thrown from their chariot in the first contest, they are thrown later, when they have trained their horses and have themselves become better drivers? This is not the case in chariot racing or in any other activity, or do you think it is? No, not I. Then after all, it seems our previous statement was true, that we do not know of any man who has proved a good statesman in this city. You admitted that there are none of the present day, but claimed some of days gone by, and chose the men just now mentioned. But they have proved to be on a level with those of our time, and so, if they were orators, they did not employ the true rhetoric, else they would not have been driven out, nor the rhetoric of flattery either. Human beings, we should not be too hard on them. Yeah. It feels as if no one can really do it right. But Socrates, men of our day are far indeed from having achieved what was accomplished by any you like to name among others. And now Socrates speaks for quite an extensive time. My good friend, I too find no fault with them, at least as servants of the city. In fact, I consider that they were more successful servants than those of today, and better able to provide the city with what she desired. But as to giving those desires a different direction instead of allowing them free scope, by persuading and compelling citizens to adopt courses that would improve them, why, therein they were practically in no way superior to the statesmen of today. Okay, that. Though this is the only true office of a good citizen. I too agree with you that they were more clever than their successors in providing ships and walls and dockyards and many other such things. Now you and I are behaving absurdly in this discussion, for throughout the time of our argument we have never ceased returning in circles to the same point in a constant failure to understand each other's meaning. I at least consider you have admitted time and again, and realize that we are concerned with a twofold activity related to both body and soul, and that one of these is menial, and by it can be provided food if our bodies are hungry, drink if they are thirsty, and if they are called clothing, bedding, shoes, or anything else that our bodies come to desire. I purposely used the same images that you may the more quickly understand. For it is no wonder that a purveyor of these things, whether huckster, merchant, or manufacturer of any of them, baker or cook or weaver or cobbler or tanner, should, because of his character, appear both to himself and to others a true minister to the body, to everyone, that is, who does not know that there is above and beyond all these an art of gymnastics and of medicine, which is the genuine ministry to the body, and should properly control all these crafts and employ their products, because it alone knows, while all the others know not, what food or drink is good or bad for the health of the body. And for this reason, while these other crafts are servile and menial and illiberal in their concern with the body, gymnastics and medicine are by rights their masters. Now when I tell you that the same holds good of the soul. Okay, so I've just restarted reading, well, not just this week, The Wisdom of Hypatia. So I'm this month in Epicureanism. Natural and necessary desires for water and calories. Natural but unnecessary desires for wine and chocolate. Unnatural desires for fame, riches, and I'm not sure. I need to buy a new washing machine. Mine broke. You can see a pile of dirty clothes behind me if you watch carefully. And is that an unnatural desire? I guess it is. I could use these hands, but I don't want to. Yes. So it seems to me Socrates is speaking here of natural desires, natural and necessary. Friendship is also a natural and necessary desire. So now I think he's going to move to the soul, which is also concerned with natural and necessary desires. Now, when I tell you that the same holds good of the soul, at one time you appear to understand, and you agree as though you grasp my meaning. But a little later you proceed to say that there have been upright and worthy citizens in our state. And when I ask you their names, you seem to put forward the same types in the field of politics as if when I ask you who in the realm of gymnastics had been or now were good trainers of the body, you should answer with the utmost seriousness Therion, the baker, and Mykikos, who wrote the Sicilian cookery book, and Sarambus, the tavern keeper. Oh, this is a good analogy. For these have proved of wonderful service to the body, the one providing bread, the second dainties, the third wine of marvelous quality. It's too early for wine, alas. I'll have another cup of coffee. Now perhaps you would be annoyed if I said to you, fellow, you know nothing about gymnastics. You talked to me of servants who cater to our desires, but have no fine or sound views about them. Men who, if it is so chances, will gorge and fatten men's bodies and will win their praise for it, but will finally rob them of what flesh they had before. And their victims, in turn, in their ignorance, will not blame for their maladies and for the loss of their original flesh, those who feasted them, but any who may happen at the time to be present and give them any advice when the surfeit of the past has some time later brought sickness upon them, because it disregarded the rule of health. These they will blame and abuse and injure, if they can, while they praise the others who were responsible for their troubles. I think I should walk over to the park where my trainer will be this morning. Haven't seen him in a very long time. And it shows. And you are now doing much the same thing as Callicles. You praise those who have banqueted our citizens with all the dainties they desire. And men say it is these who have made our city great, neither realizing that it is swollen and festering through these statesmen of old. For they have paid no heed to discipline and justice, but have filled our city with harbours and dockyards and walls and revenues and similar rubbish. And so, when the crisis of their infirmity comes, they will hold their present advisers responsible and will sing the praises of Themistocles and Simon and Pericles, who caused their misfortunes. And if you are not on your guard, they may perhaps lay hands on you and on my friend Alcibiades. I think it's the dude that Socrates is in love with. Oh, Socrates, I understand. When they have lost, he needs to throw him into every conversation. When they have lost what they once owed in addition to what they have since acquired, though you are not the authors, but perhaps the collaborators in their troubles. And yet there is a ridiculous thing that I see taking place today, and here took place with regard to their statesmen of old. I notice that whenever the city treats any of its statesmen as wrongdoers, they are indignant and violently protest that they are shockingly treated. So after doing the city many services, they are now being unjustifiably ruined by her, according to their story. But all this is a fabrication, for there is never a ruler of a city who would unjustly be ruined by the very city he ruled. Conditions, it seems, are much the same for those who pretend to be statesmen and for sophists. Your sophists, wise as they are in other matters, are in one point guilty of absurd behavior, for they claim to be teachers of goodness, yet they often accuse their pupils of wrongdoing them by withholding their fees and showing no gratitude either for benefits received from them. And what could be more illogical than this claim that men who have become good and just, men who have been stripped of injustice by their teacher and have acquired righteousness, should act unjustly by means of an injustice which does not dwell in them? Does not this seem absurd to you, my friend? You really have compelled me to play the orator Callicles by refusing to answer. Very good argument. By your students you will be known. And how well they treat you. Good. If you succeeded in making good and just, human beings of them, they will treat you well and justly. May you have a good day.